Good evening, it's Saturday, January 7th. Time for our news. I'm Konstantinos Tsindas. Spokesman Nikos Christodoulidis has said that the government is ready to deal with any eventuality in Geneva next week, when UN-brokered peace talks are set to culminate on Thursday with a Cyprus conference on security and guarantees. Speaking to reporters at the presidential palace, Christodoulidis also referred to the contents of the letter sent yesterday by Turkish Cypriot leader Mustafa Akinci to the UN Secretary-General. He made clear that the contents of the letter, as regards the status of the Republic of Cyprus, did not correspond to reality or to what was agreed on December 1st. This is also the reason, the spokesman added, that the EU will be present and have a substantial role in the process in Geneva, because the Republic of Cyprus is an EU member state. Christodoulidis further added that the joint declaration of February 11, 2015, referred very specifically to the Republic of Cyprus. He then stressed that President Anastasiadis, who is flying to Geneva tomorrow morning, would be contacting the new Secretary-General of the UN in the evening. Asked about the possibility of Turkey's President Tayyip Erdogan attending the conference, Christodoulidis said what was important was what would be brought to the negotiating table, not whether Turkey's president would be there or not. Reports from New York last night said Erdogan would not be attending Thursday's conference, despite last week's unofficial statements that he would. The divided islands guarantors, Greece, Turkey and Britain, will be taking part in the crucial conference, which aims to abolish that anachronistic right in a reunited federal Cyprus. This is something Ankara, which still occupies the northern part of Cyprus, objects to. Head of the Russian Orthodox Church, Patriarch Kirill, has led the Mass in the Cathedral of Christ the Saviour in Moscow, attended by hundreds of worshippers, and the Russian Prime Minister Dmitry Medvedev with his wife Svetlana. President Vladimir Putin attended a divine service in a monastery outside Russia's ancient town of Novgorod, 550 kilometers north of Moscow. Russian television showed Putin standing inside the old cathedral among other believers, listening to prayer and making the sign of the cross. According to Russian Orthodox tradition, the faithful start celebrating Christmas at the night mass, which is followed by celebrations at home the next day, when people hand out presents and share Christmas meals. Russian President Vladimir Putin had ordered an effort to help Republican Donald Trump's electoral chances by discrediting Democrat Hillary Clinton in last year's presidential campaign. This is what U.S. intelligence agencies said in an assessment, adding that Russia's objectives were to undermine public faith in the U.S. democratic process, denigrate former Secretary of State Clinton, and make it harder for her to win, as well as harm her presidency if she did. The report also assessed that Putin and the Russian government developed a clear preference for President-elect Trump. Russian authorities, which have previously denied interfering in the U.S. election, offered no immediate comment on today's report, and the reaction of the country's media was low-key. The report, although omitting classified details, was the U.S. government's starkest public description of what it says was an unprecedented Russian campaign to manipulate the American body politic. Reports of Russian interference in the already divisive election have roiled Washington, even as the U.S. Congress yesterday certified Trump's victory in the Electoral College. Clinton won the popular vote by nearly 3 million ballots. Federal investigators will pursue all angles in determining the motives behind a mass shooting in which an attacker opened fire in a crowded baggage claim area at Fort Lauderdale's airport, killing 5 people. Authorities said they had taken decorated Iraq War veteran Esteban Santiago into custody following the shooting and questioned him at length. The 26-year-old was arrested, booked, and jailed on suspicion of murder. Santiago was expected to face federal charges, as FBI investigators have not ruled out terrorism as a reason for the attack. Authorities said the attacker retrieved a 9mm semi-automatic handgun from his checked luggage and began firing indiscriminately. In addition to the 5 killed, 8 people were wounded by gunfire and some 36 were taken to hospital with bruises or broken bones. Authorities said Santiago arrived in the city shortly before noon local time yesterday on a connecting flight from Alaska. That's it for our news. Now look at tomorrow's weather. Overcast skies will bring local showers and isolated storms, with snowfalls expected over mountainous regions. Winds will be southerly to southwesterly, moderate to strong, force 4 to 5 over rough to very rough seas. Temperatures will rise to 11 degrees Celsius inland, 12 in coastal regions, and 1 over the mountains. The depth of snow on Mount Olympus is 75 centimeters, with 65 in Trotto Square. That's it from us. Join us again tomorrow for more news in English. Have a very good evening.